Alright, so welcome to STIA 1123 Programming 2, and today I would like to talk about an application, a complete application using Netbean with GUI builder and also with file input output as data storage. Alright, so this is the application that you can download from GitHub, so link provided below. So this is just a simple application that contains two classes that handle for each screen layout. So the first screen layout is a login screen. So this login screen, just a simple, it takes two input from user, username and password, and two buttons that would allow for user to log in using password stored in a file. The second layout here is the main interface, where it contains the main application. So when users successfully use their username and password and press the button login, it will be brought to the second interface, which they can access all the database application. And although we didn't use any database per se, however, this would basically describe the basic usage of file input output, because all the content of the file is basically being stored in a file. So let me demo the first thing about the application. So run the program. So you'll be greeted with login application. So the login application information is basically being stored inside this file, pass.txt. Username Hanis, password 12345. So this is within the project directory. So username Hanis, password 12345. So if I enter the wrong password, let's say 6, when I press the login button, login failed. So I need to enter the correct login information, 12345, press login, and then user will be brought to the main interface. Alright, so let us look at the main interface here. So the main interface here contains basic data operation, where you have this input section. User can input food information, food name, food price, and also the food location. User can add to the file or to the table down here, and then the user can also perform all the basic database operations such as delete, update, search. Alright, so all the content of the file here is being stored in another file called data.txt. So this is basically how the data is being arranged. This is the food name, the food price, the food location, and this is another marker. So I use marker to differentiate between multiple objects. So in this case, the object is food, where it contains three variables: food name, food price, and food location. Food name, food price, food location. So another one, food name, food price, food location, so on and so forth. So this is basically how data is being arranged. Alright, so you can add data. Let's say nasi kerabu, food price 2 ringgit 50 cent, location at Kochi, press add button. Okay, so new data in the file. So if you open the file again, you can see that there's new data information is being added to this file. Nasi kerabu, RM2.50, Kochi. Alright, so you can also delete. For example, I want to delete this Zinger burger, press delete button, delete this data. So if you open again the file, no longer stored Zinger burger. So you want to update, let's say I want to update nasi ayam berempah, price go down RM3.50, update. Okay, so new data in the file, and if you look at the file again, it's being updated with the new data. Alright, so how this is being done? So we start with our login application. So you start with the design. So here I'm using panel. Inside panel, there's a 2 label, 2 input tags, 2 button. So the operation for button is based on event action perform button. So inside here you can see the process for this particular button action. So take 2 input from user, uname and pass, from JTags username and JTags for field, which is these 2 input. You can see the name here, username and password field. And then before that, I need to load the password. So this method basically load the password from file pass.txt. Alright, so let's see the method. So this method is a file input output operation. For this, I'm using file reader class, and this file reader class allow me to read the file because I just want to read the content of the file, which is pass.txt. So I started with the file, new file, pass.txt. If files not exist, create the file. But of course, we created the file at first inside the project directory and give it 2 information. So at this, we just only use a simple one user application. You can also develop multiple user application by entering by using the registration page and whatnot, but this is just to demo a simple application using a text file. So create file is not exist, file reader, read the file pass.txt, and then use a string builder. You want to build the string and read the content of this file. Okay, it read character by character until we found dash. So this is what the loop is doing. While file is can be read character line by character. So read character if that character is not equal dash, because we are looking for this is the end of the input here from the file. Build the array. Okay, if found this, we start using array, split the array based on comma. Okay, so when we found this, all the content of the data here will be inserted into array by using split by comma. Okay, split by comma. So as long as the character is not found dash, append the string. That's why we have the SB here, the string builder here. So we built the string until we found this, and then we separated the content of that file with user array. Okay, so user array, so the first will always be our username and the second will always be our password, and then this is just to print out a username and password, just to check if we have the correct username and password. Alright, so our username and password is being stored as a variable here, string username and password, and now username and password consists of that information. Coming back to the button, so once we load the method, we can start compare. So if username equal uname and password equal pass that we get from user, this login screen set visible to false. Main interface, we load our main interface, and then set visible equal true. Else, so if this is not correct, we just show a message dialog box which is login failed. Alright, if you like to quit, cancel, you can just always use for cancel event action perform. Alright, so if you like to quit, you can use system.exit, which means that it will allow your application to quit. You press cancel and then you can quit. Alright, so run again. You can enter this 1 2 3 4 5, press login, there you go. So that's what happened in login screen. So next we're going to move on to the main interface. So in this main interface, I divided the application into 3 sections. Input section with its own JPanel. There's a button, so it's in its own sections, and the output in JTable is another section. So input, process, output. Alright, so again, the logic here is that when we first run the class, the main interface, we should load the content of the file. So what happened here now, there are a few things that I define for this particular class, which is our array list. For the table header, the table model, we use DTM, and then integer row column, because later we want to click on the table itself to access the row and column information. So when the class first execute, we look into our main interface constructor. But before that, let me describe about food class. So for the food class itself, our model, the data model, I just use a simple variable. I didn't set it as a private. You might want to use that, but this is just as simple as it can be. There are 3 variables that we need to use here: string, food location, food name, and then double food price, and constructor to initialize the variable, to initialize the object food, food name, food price, food location whenever we create new object out of food. So, and then we assign the value of the food name, food price, and food location to this particular for that particular object, and we use this for our array list. Okay, it is very important for array list. Alright, coming back. So this is our array list again. So I define food list, and all our object will be stored inside array list. So the logic built, load the file, take all the content of the data from the file, put it into array list. Right, put it into array list. So this is my array list. The type of the array list is food, and the name of the object is food list. And when we initialize the array list, food list equal new array list. And for the table, we need to define the data model with header. Okay, so if you remember the header of the table, food name, food price, and food location, that's just for the header. And then we need to set a JTable, our table, with the model. So our model is DTM. So whenever we updated DTM, the table will automatically update it. This set the relative location to null. This is just to set our layout to center screen. and this is the load data method that when the main interface constructor is being executed. So load data from the file. Alright, so load data basically the same. Read the content of the file. So open file, create if not exists. So we can start with an empty file. File reader, read the file. String buffer, read every character. If it is not equal dash, append the string until it found dash. Build the array, put array, and then use split to split the content of that particular file, and then assign this to foot list dot add. So we need to add the content of our array list with new foot. Okay, so this is the object that we created. We don't have to provide the name of the object because foot list already cover that. Okay, so there are three information that we need to provide. Foot array 0, which is foot name. Foot array 1, which is foot price. Foot array 2, which is foot location. And then we build string buffer, new string buffer. So we need to append that also for the string buffer. And then, we need to clear our string buffer with the new data we want to enter after that. Alright. So the second line, the second data, clear, and then we append until we found dash, and then we insert into our foot list. So until we found the last data. Alright. For down here, this is just to update our data model. So reset our data model. So every time we call this method load data, it will reset the data model, reset to 0, and then we load our foot list. Remember, the content of our foot information all stored in the foot list. So whenever we want to add into data model, we need to create object. So get the information from the object, foot name, foot price, foot list, and then add into data model, add row, and then it will update our data model with the content of the foot list. Alright, so we need to go back to our layout. So we need to go back to our main interface and done, load data. That's it. So that what happened when we log in. When we press login, the content of this table here loaded from this load data method. Okay, it will load into here. So this is the data model, this is the content of the table, this is the header, foot name, foot price, foot location, defined by this header. This is the header up here. Alright, so for add operation, you just look under, just go here, right click, event, action but perform. Right, look inside here. Again, very simple. So our objective here is to update our foot list. So because in the memory now, foot list contain all the latest information. Okay, so foot list, we want to add new into our foot list, we just call add method, new foot, with all the three information that we get from user up here. There's a 1, 2, 3. Okay, three information that we get from user. When we press that button, three information will be inserted into our array list, and then update our file again using the same method, write data. Okay, so write data here, it will use file writer method. Okay, so file writer method will write to the same file, build the string builder, append the string builder with the content of our array list, and then once completed, okay, so you can see here the structure of our array list with comma, and then finally with dash. This is for one data. This is because you want to store back into file. It basically replace again the content of the file with the new content with the array list. Okay, because for this application we cannot do something like real database. In real database, we can just insert the data in the middle, because the database management system can manage that operation. But for file operation, we cannot do that. We need to constantly replace the content of the file. And then finally write to the file with our string builder, because string builder now contain the string that we design here. Alright, and then update again our data model with that particular new content of the food list. So that's why whenever you enter data, let's say bihun soup, RM2.50, location Petronas. So whenever we add, it will do this write data, and then you can see the content of the data.txt updated with new data. Right, bihun soup RM2.50, Petronas. That what happened in this, updated the data model with the new content. So for delete operation, so the same, action button perform. So inside here, what we need to do is just either you want to remove the data model. There's no need for that actually, because when you call the write data, you don't have to do that. Just remove our food list with the row. Okay, because whenever we selected anything from here, our JTable implement mouse click, you can see down here, the mouse click basically get row and column, and it will update our text food with the row and column information that we selected. And for the combo box, it needed a special operation, because you cannot just set text to the combo box. You need to find the index. So this is basically how you find the index of the combo box and set it to selected pattern. Because you can see here, when I select nasi kerabu, kaci. When I select bihun soup, it changed to Petronas. Select nasi lemak, changed to MIC. So that what happened in this section. So when I click, it will update here and here, okay, for this operation, for this. Okay, I click here, you can see it updated food name and food price exactly. Right, so coming back to delete operation. So delete operation, delete our food list with that particular row, clear field just to clear the screen, and then write data, the same. So write again the data from our file. It will return again with the new content, because we just deleted our food list. We need to update our file with the new content, or with the deleted content from our food list. Alright, so the main idea is that whatever the inside our array list is basically the updated. Okay, either we remove, we delete, or we add. So once we add our content into our array list, we need to write again the data back into our file. So that is basically the idea here. So for delete, I forgot to mention, in this application we use confirm dialog. For example, delete here, delete this data. So this is the confirm dialog that we put it here, integer dialog, and we check the dialog. If dialog equals 0, means that we accept, we remove, else we don't remove anything. Alright, so the same with add operation. So in add operation, we add the content into our array list. In delete operation, we remove the content from our array list using row information. Okay, we delete from row the index of our array list. Okay, so simple. So once we deleted, clear the field, write the data to our file. So rewrite again the data. That is the algorithm here. For update also the same. So you can see here the update event action perform. Update also we take the information back from our interface, and then we need to select the row what we want to update. So we just get food list get row and then reassign with the new value, updated food name, food price, and food location. And then again write the data. Okay, write the data. We call back the method write data to rewrite the content of our file and update our data model. And finally, for search operation, search might take a little bit longer because we need to traverse our food list. Okay, so I'm using here in this example J option pin input dialog. So that's why you get the following. This is J option pin show input, right, show input dialog. So this is just a simple application. We need to search for particular, for example, mee goreng. Okay, so mee goreng, food name, found, and then it will be displayed up here. So that what happened. So get the input from user, traverse our food list, check our food list get food name equal to the user input here. If equal, and then found, show a message dialog found, and then set text to our food name, food price, and then again food location. This is for our combo box. That's it. For here, this is just to clear our layout content here, reset our input from user. That's it. You can download this code from my GitHub link down below. Thank you and happy coding.